the Olympics in 2012. Is it a different environment when you're competing for GB?
I was like a kid in a sweet shop. In 2 years, I had achieved my dreams, which was to ride on a team, ride at London Olympia, and then go to the Olympics. I was like, oh my God. I got to London 2012, and all I can remember is like turning up and being so excited. I remember going to our arena, and I think it seated 25,000 people. I think the most people I'd ridden and performed in front of probably was about 6,500 people.
Any gold medalists I have known over my career have always been partnerships that started at the beginning, because the trust that you need in an Olympic arena is huge.
So all of a sudden, I see these grandstands, like you're looking up and it is like huge towers of people. And I'm just craving to get in that arena. I'm just like itching, sitting on the seats, like, I just want to get in there, I just want to do it. And like Carl is there and he's like biting his fingers, he's like nervous, he's twitchy. He's the absolute opposite. Going into London, we had the pressure to win gold as a team. But as everyone knows, it may not happen on the day. They're horses, so anything could happen.
Be ready for it. You can't tell your horse that. So, in other words, this amazing relationship that Charlotte and Vallegro got was this confidence that when they went into arenas where so many combinations are affected by atmosphere, they didn't have that because they'd grown up together.
And you and Vallegro put in a performance that captivated the nation and propelled you to superstardom.
I just never forget, I walked in and a lot of the riders were quite nervous because when we were coming in, being the Brits, being in the home crowd, the crowd were just cheering.
To see her enter that arena with everybody all around the sides, it was just something that, you know, you just, well, it was like dreaming. I just wanted to hit myself to see that I was actually watching my daughter enter that big arena down at, you know, at the Olympics.
For our horses, when they hear clapping and cheering, they get quite nervous and tense. And obviously that's what we don't want. You know, the horses have to be relaxed. So I said to Carl, I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna let them clap, and then I'll go off, and then you have literally, the bell rings and you have like 45 seconds to get down and in the arena. So I walk in and I could feel Blueberry, like he just was like bouncing and he was like a bit excited. And everybody clapped and I just patted him on his side, and it was like, I could feel him be a bit like nervous, and I just patted him and I literally felt him go, oh, it's okay. He took a breath and he literally, I felt like he was like reassured with the fact that I'd patted him. And then off we went and we did our performance.
This situation where most people go into the ring and they're like, they might become nervous themselves or their horse becomes nervous. You know, that horse is just like, I'll give you whatever you want.
When I finished, it was the most incredible. It gives me goosebumps now, even thinking about what it sounded like. People were cheering, clapping, stamping their feet. That was something I'd never experienced. It was unbelievable. And Blueberry just thought it was wonderful. He just looked up at everybody, looked around, and was like, yeah, I'm here.
He's a true performer, isn't he?
Yeah. And he just loved it. Winning the team gold, standing on that podium with my teammates, it was just an absolutely incredible moment. The best time of my life, to be able to stand in your home crowd and that podium and hear the national anthem with that gold medal around your neck. Nothing beats that. I had to then do the individual, so I knew I had a good chance for the individual, but for me, I said to myself, if a guy could be in like top 4, possibly medal in an individual, get a medal, I'd be so proud. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I could win gold. The Dutch were so strong, the Germans were really strong. I honestly just went in there just to do my thing with Blueberry. I had the most incredible music, which was all London themed, so it was just brilliant, and I loved that music. And the minute I put my hand up and it started, it was like there was just me and Blueberry. And we danced our way around the music, and at the end I made a little blip. It was our only mistake in the test, and as I came out, all I can remember is Carl going, that's it, you blew your gold medal, you blew it right at the end, you blew that, that's it. you know, you're not going to win it now. And literally then the whole of the stadium erupting because obviously my score came up and I had actually won individual gold. It was giving me goosebumps. I just burst into tears. It took me so much by surprise. And at that point, that's when you want to run and see your mum, because I knew my mum and dad were there and I couldn't get to them. And then you're just swarmed with all these people and it's like so overwhelming with what you've just done. I just couldn't take it all in. It was like happening so fast and everyone just coming up and running and hugging me, all the competitors, friends, and my mum, and she was screaming through the fence, and I ran to my mum and my dad, and, you know, everyone just hugging each other, and it was just incredible.
It was, I can't tell you, I was just eaten up with tears and joy, and it was incredible.
Her story is like a fairy tale and an aspiration to many.
One of those things you'll never relive
No, you'll never replicate that.
I don't use this expression overly, but Charlotte is a genius. There's nothing else for her to win in the sport, and just when you think there isn't very much else for her to win, she goes and does it.
If you talk about one of those flip the switch moments for the industry, for dressage, for Charlotte and for the public's perception of dressage, it was London 2012.
I find really interesting about that story is that Carl says, you blew it. But by saying that, of course, it shows his attention to detail and his understanding of what's happened, but it also shows that he clearly never had a conversation with you that you could win the gold.
No, he never put pressure on me. He knew how to deal with me, and he knew I was a fighter, for sure. He always knew that if I did my best, it was enough anyway. He never needed to say anything to me about it. He knew I was going to go for gold. And I think had he gone to me and gone, Charlotte, like, you can win gold, I'd think about things so differently.